Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today's event. We appreciate your attendance and the support that you've shown Caltrans. My name is Dennis Keaton. I'm the Public Information Officer for Caltrans District 3. I cover Sacramento and Yolo counties. Today's MC has been at the helm of Caltrans District 3 for over 14 years. He's well known throughout the department. He's had over 30 years of experience in leadership. He's our District 3 Director. Please welcome Amarjeet Benapal.
Thank you, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. We do have some extra seats, so please don't hesitate to get yourself comfortable because this is going to be a long program and we want you to enjoy every moment of it. Along with that, we also have refreshments for you on the left-hand side. We want you to stay wired or hydrated, whatever you like. So please help yourself in that context. What a great day today. What a great day for Sacramento, for our partners, and every transportation individuals who has helped us get to this point today. We cannot be here without your help. And there are many we are going to be recognizing today who has made us accomplish what is actually a signature project in Sacramento's history on state highway system in recent years, which is looking from a multimodal aspect, trying to address not only the needs of trying to fix it first, but also providing the mobility options for everyone who uses our combined system, from pedestrians to bicyclists to bus and carpool laners. So it's glad that you are able to join us, and it's going to be a great program, and we have a great lineup for you to share their perspective as we are going to be inviting different speakers to speak on the behalf of this project. So it's my pleasure first to invite Caltrans Director Tony Tavares. Tony has been appointed to his position in June of this year by Governor Newsom, and he is responsible for $20 billion budget, along with leading the workforce of 22,000 strong, managing 50,000 lane miles, over 20,000 bridges, responsible for permitting 400 airports, which requires the state's oversight, and providing support to 200 transit agencies through our department's help. Not only he brings a vast amount of experience to this position, but he has actually a very diverse background, leading prior to this appointment, leading LA Basin District 7 as a director. And prior to that, he was actually leading District Director of District 4, which is a Bay Area district, along with a San Joaquin District 10 Stockton office as well. He also spent 8 years in leading our statewide maintenance workforce from 2010 to 2018. So it's my great pleasure, and please join me welcoming Tony Tavares to the podium.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Amarjeet. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. This is quite a great momentous occasion, a celebration for the Sacramento region, a celebration for California. But before I begin my remarks, I would like to take a moment, and I hope you'll indulge me, to acknowledge a tragedy that occurred last month here on I-5. One of our contractor employees was killed and another seriously injured when a vehicle entered the work zone and collided with them. Today we honor these workers, and our hearts go out to their families. This incident is another stark reminder of the risks inherent to the work we do on a daily basis. And it also demonstrates the fact that people need to slow down. You need to put your phones away, stop driving distracted, and please, please do not drive impaired. To honor our fallen colleagues, will you please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you. As Caltrans Director, I'm honored to attend this celebration today. We're here to celebrate the opening of yet another great highway project. I'd like to start by thanking a few people without whom this project would not be a reality. First, to the entire staff of Caltrans. You can see many of them in orange behind you. My tremendous gratitude to your commitment, your dedication, and your hard work to ensuring this project was completed. Additionally, I want to sincerely thank our partners on this project and other dignitaries in attendance, including Congresswoman Doris Matsui and her team, 6th District in California, Congressman Ami Bera, Sacramento City Council member and SACOG Chair, Mr. Rick Jennings, County Supervisor, District 5 and SACOG Vice Chair, Patrick Kennedy, the Mayor of Elk Grove, my mayor, Bobby Singh Allen, Sacramento Mayor, Daryl Steinberg, City Council member and Mayor Pro Tem Eric Guerra, and STA member, and to our contractors, Tykert Construction of Sacramento, Granite Construction of Watsonville. They joined together as a partnership to form NorCal Paving, and this project was awarded to them. They did a tremendous job in completing this project, and we thank them for all their hard work. We're all here to recognize and celebrate the opening of this $370 million SACOG 5, HOV and rehabilitation project. Like most SB1 projects, this undertaking was greatly needed. However, this project is unique. It's the largest highway project Sacramento has seen since I-5 was finished in 1975. It's the largest highway rehabilitation project in our region in almost 50 years. Some important milestones were achieved along the way, bringing us to where we are today, including addressing long-needed improvements along this 15-mile stretch of I-5 from the American River to just south of Elk Grove Boulevard. We rehabilitated 67 lane miles of roadway. We added 23 miles of HOV carpool lanes, provided ADA-compliant ramp improvements, constructed 2 brand new sound walls, and a brand new pedestrian overcrossing that will allow families to get from one side of I-5 to the other side of I-5. These are not small accomplishments. Improving the environment and overall air quality is something everyone in the Sacramento region should make as a priority. And to reduce overall construction time and waste disposal, this project recycled old concrete pavement on site, which resulted in reduced greenhouse gas emissions during the construction work. The additional carpool lanes in both directions will promote ride sharing, carpooling, van pooling, the use of express bus service in South Sacramento, and for commuters from Elk Grove to downtown Sacramento. These new carpool lanes not only give commuters new options, but also help minimize the number of single occupancy vehicle trips on the road and shorten traffic times for those who carpool or use transit. Motorists using the carpool lanes will see their peak commuting times drop by almost 13 minutes. And for a daily commuter, the savings in time can be anywhere from 50 to 100 hours less each year. In addition to saving commuters time, it also adds up to dollars that they will save at the gas pump. Also, commuters along this I-5 corridor will see savings in time, but also that there are 15,000 trucks that utilize this corridor on a daily basis, delivering freight, goods, and services to the Sacramento area and beyond. Completion of this project represents a remarkable investment in our infrastructure. California economy and the lives of all Californians depend on it. It also showcases the tremendous amount of partnering among state agencies and regional and local transportation organizations, many who are here today. To finance this I-5 HOV rehabilitation project, $45 million came from Senate Bill 1. Another $280 million came from Caltrans's State Highway Operation and Protection Program. The Sacramento Transportation Authority also invested $33.2 million, and the Sacramento Area Council of Governments added $8.5 million from local federal funds. This is yet another example of Caltrans and our local transportation partners working together on the behalf of all Californian motorists. From Caltrans, from my heart to all of you, we appreciate each and every one of our partners, and we thank you for the successful completion of the I-5 HOV project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director, for your comments. And I appreciate all of you joining us in a moment of silence for one of our workers, which has lost life just a stone throw away from this location, right at the off-ramp in the northbound direction at Sutterville. So we again ask each and every one of the public who we are here to serve, who we are here trying to make the system to be safe for you, please be thinking about the families and individuals who are working on the roadside in the orange, and also our contractor partners every single day to make your life better and your life safe. So please be thinking about it. Don't be speeding, don't be distracted, and don't be under the influence. So we appreciate your support in that regard. And I also wanted to take a moment to thank the community for their support during the construction phase, because for last almost 3 years, we've been in your backyard, and now this facility is yours and everyone else to utilize safely. So we wanted to thank for your patience as well. So with that, it's my pleasure to invite our next speaker to the podium, our California Transportation Commission Chair, Leanne Eager. Leanne comes to the Commission from Fresno, and having grown up in Fresno and worked in Fresno helping all the community members, she knows the challenges which we face in the Sacramento Valley and in the Central Valley as well. And she's bringing those values to the California Transportation Commission as part of her daily job of making the decisions on a transportation policy and funding the projects and programs. But she also brings to this job a diverse background, being a graduate from Fresno State in a degree in criminology, and also the law degree from University of Davis, California. So it's with my great pleasure to invite Chair of California Transportation Commission, Leanne Eager, to the podium.
Thank you. Well, it got a little bit warmer. I woke up this morning and went, oh my gosh, but then I thought, okay, 2 weeks ago it was 120, so I can't complain, right? So I was driving up last night, and as I was coming from Fresno, coming through the valley, coming up to into Sacramento, and I saw, gosh, it went from 5 lanes to 4 lanes to 6 lanes to 2 lanes, and I said, oh my gosh, somebody's got to fix this. Oh yeah, that's us. We got to fix this. And so as we look at this particular project and the amazing innovation that has happened in the last 4 years, I have to say I'm in awe. What you've been able to accomplish over these last few years is absolutely amazing. And I don't know if anybody saw the Washington Post this morning. Anyone? California is posed to be the 4th largest economy in the world next year. Right? 4th largest economy in the world because of innovation, because of the companies that we bring in, because of the work that we do. And as I travel around the country, and I get to travel around the world, and I've traveled with some folks here as we look at our transportation systems, and people go, where are you from? And I say, California. Wow. That's what we want to be someday. And these are people from all over the world. And I know we hear sometimes, right? Oh man, everybody's moving out of California. Nobody wants to be a part of California. And you're wrong. Wrong. Everybody does want to come to California. Everybody does want to look at what it is that we're doing here because of these kinds of innovations, because of the work that we're doing right here. This last week in Fresno, we had a big event. And it was to celebrate all of the wonderful things that are happening in our Central Valley and up and down the state. And our theme, which is appropriate here, is it's game time. We brought in, I don't know if you know, anybody follow soccer, we brought in Brandy Chastain, a famous soccer player, to come and talk about what you can do as a team. How it is that we can all make a difference if you work together as a team. And with Caltrans and with our COGS, the work that we can all do to be able to accomplish what it is that we want in this state, man, the possibilities are endless for us in these next few years. And with our federal partners bringing in all of that infrastructure money, with our state, this governor saying we're all in on transportation, these kinds of things are only the beginning. So I'm excited. I'm excited for these next 5 years on what it is that we're all going to be able to accomplish, because I can see what we can do together. So with all of you, I say it's game time. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Igor. And with the governor's leadership, thank you for also trying to invest $1.7 billion throughout the state in active transportation program in Cycle 6. So we appreciate the CTC's leadership in that regard as well. So before we invite the next speaker, I wanted to share a little brief story on this project, because every project has a story. And each of you are going to be actually viewing it from your own perspective. So I'm going to share my perspective, and some of you guys are going to say, well, I'm making things up as I go along, which is probably the case anyway. But since it's a celebration time, we do want to celebrate the success of this project. But every success starts with a vision. This was one of the projects which we actually thought at one point really had no shot, because we had a lot of other investment ahead of this that we actually need to take care of, especially Highway 50. Highway 50 from downtown to War Avenue was our signature project, and we wanted to make sure that we actually stay focused and keep that in mind. But at the same time, in 2015, we started looking at the pavement condition on this road. We said, okay, we can't wait till 50 is going to be finished, because this road is not going to allow us to wait. And many of you may remember that potholes resulted in one time 26 cars losing their tires on I-5, and we thought we fixed those potholes, and lo and behold, within a month, we got another pothole and 22 cars were stranded on the side of the road. So we knew it was going to require a lot of effort and a lot of innovation in terms of financing, and we need to pull everything we could, but more importantly, we need to find the way to actually energize Caltrans team to deliver a project which did not have a line of sight where the funding was going to come from. So with that in mind, I wanted to first acknowledge our SACOG partners, James Corliss and his team. They had actually invested $8.5 million of CMAQ funds for sport costs, along with the Sacramento Transportation Authority, Kevin Bavisi, who's here with us also. His team also had given us $3.3 million so we can continue to keep getting this project shelf ready. Shelf ready is just a starting point. Convincing a team is a bigger issue. So I had to actually say, okay, how do actually we make it work? So I called two of my project managers, Wayne Lewis, who was actually came back as a retired annuitant. Lo and behold, a retired annuitant came to work for us. I say, okay, he's a sacrificial lamb. Let's go ahead and put him on this project. His feelings are not going to be hurt, but I wanted to give him a support. So we actually had Sutha Sudhar, who's standing in the back, along with Jessica Avila, who actually took this project to the finish line. Asked them that you need to keep team focused to deliver this project regardless of where the money is going to come from, because that's my job working with our partners. So with those little money in hand, then came as we were start thinking in 2016 that there might be some kind of a state financial plan, at that time, our chief deputy of Caltrans, Kome Jise, so I had to make few trips to his office, convincing him that we need to at least get this project shelf ready for rehabilitation Fix It First program. So thank you, Kome Jise, for allowing us to use $280 million of financial commitment to start this project. And he is a SCAG executive director, so thank you for taking the time and joining as well this morning. So that was just the beginning. So we got hope. Now we actually have some, along with hope, some wishes getting granted. So now we need to make sure we actually take care of the managed lane, which is our bus carpool lane component in this project, because we don't want to keep coming one project at a time and keep actually having impact on our traveling public. This is where our local sales tax comes so critical that actually allows us to be able to leverage other funds. So at that time, we actually had a conversation with the STA board, which I will come back to in a moment, that if we are going to nominate this project, they need to be stand ready to support this project for financial commitment. Because in Senate Bill 1, Cycle 1, we actually had Highway 50 for over $120 million nomination, and that was going to be the nomination we were going to make it priority 1 along with RT's Gold Line investment. But this was going to be our number 2 priority. And that's where our commissioner, Jim Arp, came to the savings. And he committed that he will carry the water to the finish line by committing $15 million from downtown to consumers in this corridor. So once having that commitment, then we actually leaned on to our STA board members that how can they assist. And thank you to their support, not only they actually matched $15 million for $15 million, they also actually added additional $15 million to carry this project from downtown to south of Elk Grove Boulevard. So I wanted to take a moment to thank our supervisors, Patrick Kennedy and Don Natoli, who is in the audience, for their support. City of Sacramento Council member Eric Guerra, along with at that time his members Steve Henson and Jeff Harris, who carried the vote, and plus our City of Elk Grove members, Darren Swain and Patrick Hume, who were the key votes to make sure that we actually received $30 million. And that is what actually allowed us to not only fix 67 lane miles for roadway rehabilitation, plus 23 miles of managed lanes for this corridor, providing the sound walls and putting the finished grade as an open grade friction course, which is going to actually make noise less in the entire corridor. So the community is going to have their life back as a result of it. So thank you. This is your project, and thank you every one of you for your support, and can't overlook the federal participation which we get from a funding perspective, because every roadway rehabilitation project brings 88.53% from a federal government. So Vince Weir, thank you for your deep pockets, even though you don't acknowledge it all the time. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Rick Jennings, who is a SACOG board chair and council member for Council District 7. As many of you may know, Rick Jennings was born in Houston, and he was raised in Washington, D.C., and in 1972, I'm not trying to tell his age, but that's in his bio, he actually earned a full scholarship on football and track to University of Maryland, where he actually earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
Go Terps! Sorry.
He is the first graduate from his family, and he is proud to be actually having that designation. 1976, he was lucky to be drafted by National Football League by Oakland Raiders. I'm not Oakland Raiders fan, so I'm not going to hold anything against him. But in any rate, his team did well over the weekend. So he was selected by Oakland Raiders, and he was a part of the team who won Super Bowl 11 against Minnesota Vikings 32-14. The reason why I'm stating the score, because if I don't, he is going to tell us anyway. So with that, it is my great pleasure to invite SACOG Chair and Council Member to the podium.
So it's okay for me to say, how about those Raiders? Those fans out there. So Leanne gave part of my speech as well. She talked about everybody wanting to come to California and be in California, and the fourth largest economy that's coming up. I came to California in 76, as it was mentioned, and came to Sacramento in 1986 and have fallen in love with California. So we want to do everything we can to make California a place for other people to come, and that means improving our roadways and everything else. So I want to thank each one of you for taking time this morning to be at the Interstate 5 Corridor Enhancement Project ribbon cutting ceremony. Give yourselves a round of applause, if you will. This project not only will help improve and repair Interstate 5, but it'll also improve the commute for thousands that live here in the city of Sacramento, who live in the county, who come through our city and county. This will make a big improvement for our roadway. And so it's a very important project. And for those of us who've been living in Sacramento for a while, we know how much is needed. And all the statistics that were given earlier about improving commute time is going to be important. Because if we can reduce speed and improve commute time, that's a winning formula. I also attended an event earlier about a project that you probably passed on the way here. It's the pedestrian overcross passing. It's one of the most beautiful pieces of art. That's right, that deserves a round of applause, yeah. It's a beautiful structure. The community has fallen in love with it. It's art in public places. I mean, it's one that people go up to take a picture on and send to their friends and relatives all across the country. It'll be something that will be enjoyed for many, many years to come. Just as this project will as well. It will improve traffic in District 7 and show off our great partnership with Caltrans. And so it was said earlier, it's game time. You know, when the Raiders would get to the huddle and we wanted to get the play off before the defense got ready, the quarterback would say one thing. He would say, blue go. There would be no I-38, red 45, you know, Omaha, none of that kind of stuff. It was just blue go. And when you got up there and you said blue go, it was time to go. It's time for us to do this project and get it done right for all the citizens and people who come to the city of Sacramento. It's blue go time. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And I said, if I would not mention those stats, I knew Rick was going to mention it. With that, let me invite our next speaker to the podium. Mayor Bobby Allen Singh could not be able to join due to some commitments. And we are fortunate to have Darren Sween, the council member for our city of Elk Grove, and also our Sacramento Transportation Authority member, to be able to join us on her behalf. So I don't have Darren, your bio, but I'm going to make one up as we go along. It will be all good. As many of you do know, now Darren holds many positions, and I'm not quite sure how he's able to balance all of those things. Not only he's on many boards along with his full-time job at DWR and ex-member of Caltrans team as well. It has just been awesome to actually see him continue to be serving the community, and especially the community of Elk Grove where I live. And so thank you for your service, and it's a pleasure to have you join us today for this event.
Thank you so much, Amarjeet. And I'd like to give you a round of applause, please. Can we give Amarjeet a round of applause? You're so complimentary to all of us, but you know, your leadership is not overlooked. We certainly appreciate your past leadership and current leadership in this role. I just want to quickly say, as a Niner fan, it's proof that regionalism and collaboration exists within the Sacramento region. You know, this today is important to me and meaningful to me for a few different reasons, if you'll indulge me. One, you know, as Amarjeet mentioned, I represent the city on the Sacramento Area Council of Governments, but as a former chair of STA, I was just, well, not here, it was downtown, but we did the groundbreaking just a few years ago, and so here we are today celebrating its opening. And then also personally for me, having been born and raised in the Greenhaven Pocket area, seeing this freeway, this landscape hasn't been changed for so many years. I'll just say, I mean, I am over 50, so it's been a long time. And to see this road and where we've come, that the commute times will be, we heard 13 minutes, be improved for not only myself as a commuter, but over 180,000 residents in the city of Elk Grove. We all greatly appreciate the work that's taken place and these accomplishments today. I want to just close and just say thank you. Thank you to Caltrans, thank you to our federal and state and local partners for all the work that you've put in to get this thing going. It was articulated earlier about how much effort it takes and collaboration it takes to get something like this, a huge infrastructure project that will affect thousands, tens of thousands of lives on the roads every day. And then finally, as was acknowledged earlier, I also want to express my condolences to the families that are forever impacted by any tragedies that occur on our highways, and echo the sentiments that were made about trying to be safe and be aware as we drive these freeways. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Appreciate it. And our next speaker is the City of Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg. And as many of you may or may not know, Darrell was a graduate of UCLA and UC Davis Law, and he has been serving.
Go Aggies.
Let's hear it one more time, Mayor.
Go Hornets. Oh.
Well, it's all in the family, so it's okay. And as many of you know, Mayor has been serving for over 25 years in a public service. Prior to being a mayor, he was in a legislature for 14 years. And he was actually the first one to be the pro tem in state's history of 125 years at the time. So we appreciate you actually bringing your leadership skill to earn that post. But at the same time, you had led this state through right now we're talking about really good times. But during the time when we were working through the Great Depression, and you actually led working with the governors and the legislature to actually pull this state out of red during that time. So your leadership is greatly appreciated. Along with that, you also have led some of the landmark legislations, which were first in the nation at the time, to actually provide the Mental Health Services Act, a tax which provides $3 billion for mental health, and on transportation, carrying the legislation, Senate Bill 375 and Senate Bill 743, which is actually keeping us in the forefront of trying to accomplish not only our jobs, land use, and transportation, but also meeting our climate goals simultaneously. And you are a champion on behalf of trying to invest in disadvantaged communities, and so your service is greatly appreciated. So with that, please join me welcoming Mayor Steinberg to the podium.
Amarjeet, you are so gracious to me and to all of us. I so appreciate it, especially recounting some of those prior years, because we all do build upon, those that came before us. And I won't say that I'm envious or bitter about the fact that there's now a lot of money and there were $60 billion deficits when I was pro tem, but not at all. Actually, I'm very happy about it. And in part, that's what brings us here today, is that we have the opportunity to invest in California again in real ways, because for so many years we were cutting and we were not able to do so. But I want to begin my brief remarks by acknowledging the working people again. Obviously, the loss of life is tragic. And it was appropriate to start today with a moment of silence. But I also want to honor all of the working men and women who helped complete or on the road to completing this project. This is dangerous work. And sometimes the public, the impatient public, does not appreciate what it means to be out on our freeways doing this work for all of us. So I think it's really important that we always stop and think, not just Labor Day in September, but every day, about the sacrifice that goes on in allowing us to drive ultimately more safely. I also think this is amazing. I mean, it's so easy to say it, and it's almost cliche when you have a lot of representatives from different levels of government here, but this is amazing. I mean, this is what it takes to do something big. I know as mayor of Sacramento, man, have I learned I can't do anything alone. As hard as I may try, and we all try, it is only when you have the leadership of a governor, of two great members of Congress, of the Federal Highway Administration, of the Department of Transportation, of the CTC, of our local agencies, SACOG, the STA, our county and our city, pooling money, becoming creative, figuring out how to not just repair the roads, but make sure that we've got sound walls as well. This only happens when there's unprecedented levels of collaboration. And it needs to be remembered, because this is how we do the next great thing together. And finally, well, third and then finally, you know, we have to employ every strategy at our disposal to address climate and congestion. It's not just one thing. And so the idea of building these HOV lanes, not just for commuters, but also that express bus service from Elk Grove to Sacramento, is a significant advance. We combine that with all the investment in building out regional transit and all of the improvements that we're making through SACOG's regional blueprint, its SB 375 blueprint. Man, we can, if we can't have it all, we sure can come pretty close. And then finally, I do think that there's a real life lesson here in how a project like this gets done. Because I know I hear from constituents and people, oh my God, it's so hard to get home. Highway 5 now, it's so difficult. You hear all of that, okay. And then you see all the great work going on. And really, what it means is that we all need to be a little bit more patient. We all need to be a little bit more graceful. We need to be a little more tolerant. And you know what? When we are, and if we are, there's a great reward on the other side. Not only do we feel a little bit better about ourselves, but now, because of a little bit of sacrifice, because of a little bit more patience, the people of Sacramento are now going to have decades of being able to drive on safer roads. I look at the before and the after. That's pride. It ought to be pride. And it's going to result in people getting to where they need to get to faster, 50 to 60 hours a year of time saved. And of course, it's going to create more safety, fewer accidents, fewer injuries, and fewer fatalities. And so the little bit of inconvenience over these months is worth decades of real benefit for the people of our region. Thank you very much, everybody, and congratulations. Thank you, LG. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And our next speaker is STA board member and Council District 6, Eric Guerra. So Eric has been serving his community since 2015, and he is graduated from Sacramento State, especially with a degree in electrical electronics, which is hard to find these days. So Eric, if you are looking for opportunities, we always have one. And I understand you started with the Caltrans assisting us, trying to make sure our systems were functioning properly by doing testing at the TransLab. And it's been a pleasure for your support to be at STA board member, continue to keep supporting the investment in transportation, not only on the bus carpool lanes, but also in other multitudes of investment in transit and also in our bike and ped facilities. So please join me welcoming Mr. Guerra to the podium.
Thank you, Amarjeet. I want to thank first off again all of our workers, all of our Caltrans workers out there, the families also, all of our workers from our contractors who are out there day to day. As Amarjeet mentioned, I started off at the Trans Lab doing quality assurance testing and actually testing those lights that should tell everybody to slow down. We were in the electrical division making sure that those were functioning and making sure that when folks were out there that people were paying attention to our workers. And I remember going out to the field and actually, feeling that pressure of how much is out on the roadway. I want to again recognize their commitment to public safety. One thing, when our construction and transportation workers are out there, their number one focus is public safety for our community. They're making sure that we all get home safely. They're making sure that we're providing good, strong goods movement for our economy. And we want them to go home safely to their family. Please give them a big round of applause. I also want to thank our CHP officers that are out there who respond to many of those issues and also give them cover many times when we're trying to do our work for public infrastructure. It's a long list of speakers, and it's because of a partnership. So if there's anything I want the community to take home are two major points here. One, that a good partnership is what this is about. I remember being in the room in a conference in a room with Supervisor Patrick Kennedy, with our STA staff, with our Caltrans officials, and also our Caltrans engineers, telling us we found a way for us to work together to improve this project. It means everyone's got to give a little. It means we all got to trust each other, and it means that if we do trust each other and work together, we can move this project faster. And because of that, we were able to move our resources on Highway 50, get a sound wall constructed for the communities of Oak Park and Tahoe Park, make sure that we had better connectivity with our HOV lanes on I-5, and then the communities that live in Sacramento, South Sacramento, and Elk Grove can also benefit from the improvements of our roadways. And I'll say that when my sister first bought her home in Elk Grove, her biggest fear, and as a parent myself, the biggest fear was getting to and from work every day. The fear of being in an accident, in a congestion, back-to-back traffic, the length of time of losing our time with our family, and then the question every morning of whether or not I'd make it to work or pick up my kid at the daycare or pick up my kid at school. Those are very clear things that every parent feels today. So the two big messages again is this is about a partnership. It was the city of Sacramento, the city of Elk Grove, the STA board, our Caltrans officials, our state pulling together, and our federal administration. We were just joking, we're going to call Vince the Deep Pockets Vince over here from the STA Federal Authority, because it meant everybody working together and trusting each other, that if we worked, we all had the bigger vision in mind, we can actually get people home for dinner, we get people home safely to their kids, and we can get people home safely to school. As chair of the Air District, this also is a huge air quality benefit for the people that live along this corridor. Being able to increase public transit and reduce our greenhouse gas emissions is a critical effort. So again, two big messages today: a strong partnership, making sure we get people home for dinner. And when there's a long list of people here to speak, I like to end with a shorter statement, which is a haiku: safe roadways, a good partnership protects lives. Thank you very much. Let's go Caltrans. Let's go California.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Our next speaker, which we moved the lineup around to make sure we actually get a local perspective. So since Rick Jennings stole some of the thunder, we wanted to make sure we have a little gap before we invite Supervisor Patrick Kennedy, who's one of the Board of Supervisors and also the Vice Chair of FIXSAC5 board, to the podium. He was elected to the Board of Supervisors since 2014, and he is actually a fourth generation Sacramentan. So I'm pretty sure he has all of us beaten in that regard. And he leads the efforts on homelessness issues, law enforcement oversight, affordable housing, mental health, and climate action, along with our flood protection in the Sacramento region, which all of those services are greatly appreciated. He is a graduate from Sacramento State and also have a law degree from Lincoln Law School. He joined us on the pedestrian overcrossing event as well, which he used when he was going to elementary school to cross that highway. So it was great to see his perspective as we actually opened up the Casaletta pedestrian overcrossing to the school students who were able to join us on that day as well. But this project not only actually built a signature structure on this corridor, but was also able to provide a multimodal aspect of building cycle track on Franklin Boulevard to connecting to Consumnes Light Rail Station. So we continue to keep increasing our multimodalism in that regard. And those are all of the services were under the leadership of Supervisor Kennedy. So it's my great pleasure to invite Supervisor to the podium.
Thank you, sir. I sincerely appreciate you all being here today. You know, Rick and I have the unique opportunity of representing this area. And when I say unique, it's because it's not every day that you have two world-class athletes representing the same area. So thank you, Rick, for all that you do for the community. And I don't know what's greater, being here to see this ribbon cutting, which means a lot to South Sacramento, or hearing Darrell Steinberg talk about patience. It's actually, this stretch of I-5 actually does have a real meaning to me, in all sincerity. I actually rode my bicycle on I-5 before it was opened. That's how long we've been around here. I actually did go across not that pedestrian overpass, but to go to school, the old pedestrian overpass, and now we have something that is truly world-class. And I want to thank Caltrans for your vision in doing that. You could have just done another structure. You didn't. You did something that really is going to mean something to this community for generations to come. I thank you for that. And then what really is the most important part of this project isn't just the wonderful pictures that show the before and after, but what we have to remember, and how we opened today, was safety and what this road means. I will tell you that I have known people who have perished on this stretch of I-5. My daughter's soccer coach was killed when a truck went over the median and hit him head on. There's been other circumstances in other cases that I've known people who have been killed on this stretch of I-5. And I bring that up because we take it for granted that this is something that's going to get us there faster and quicker and all of that. It's going to help with air quality and all of that, all of which is important. But really, it's the security and safety of our neighborhoods and our neighbors. And that's what this is going to do. This project will save lives. And so on behalf of the Sacramento County, the neighborhoods that I've been proud to represent for a number of years and grew up in, I want to thank Caltrans and Mr. Director for what you've done here. You've really, truly made a difference in our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Kennedy. And thank you for your leadership as we were developing this project to actually develop the sound wall designs with the community's input, hosting many of the homeowners associations meeting before we started the construction and during construction to keep them informed. So we appreciate your leadership. So with that, it's my pleasure to invite our Federal Highway Administrator Vince Mamano. And if you don't know Vince, I guess you're going to get to know him after today. He's been at the helm of FHWA California Division since 2011. And one of the largest division in the nation, where he's actually directing the federal aid program and also the Recovery Act funds to invest in our communities. But more importantly, Vince brings true partnership, true problem solving, working with not only the state DOT, but with our local partners as well. Overall, He is one heck of a funny guy. So look forward to Comedy Central if you have not seen it before. So it's my great pleasure to invite Vince Mamano to the podium.
A lot of pressure.
No pressure at all.
That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure there. So first off, go Terps. So how often do you get on the left coast and have two graduates from the great University of Maryland? And as you could see, you could probably guess we're from the University of Maryland because we're clearly smarter than everybody else. In a good way. Don't read into that at all, gang, at all. And Amarjeet, it's going to cost you because there's one really bald guy on the table and one spot in shade, and I'm over there. All right? So it's a nice day, but I'm burning, and that's going to cost you. And then lastly, I am known as Deep Pockets. I tell people they're full of money. They go all the way down to the ankles, and they're full of money, but I got short arms, so I can't reach them. So I wish you the best of luck. But no, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank the team here. I love when you get to speak last because check partnership, check greenhouse, check, got that, check. But first I want to introduce Matt Schmitz from my team, our Director of Project Delivery. Matt and Lon Fon was another member of our team that was a part of this project, and I get a lot of credit for my partnership, but it's Matt and his team's leadership that really shows that partnership. So I want to thank him for working on this project and working to build these partnerships. And as I look around and I keep hearing partnership, there was a lot of innovation on this project, and it came from partnership. And I see Sam Asoon here from GLA, and I know they were a partner. They worked with the partnering on this project, and they were able to accelerate the HOV, I think, by a year, I think. And I know Granite is part. There you go. Thank you. Look at it. You know what? That's a Maryland grad saying, I'm going to take care of people. He cares. But anyway, there's just so much that goes into a project like this. I just really appreciated the investment discussion on all the different groups, because a lot of people go, oh, the federal government's got to fix this. Federal government's not going to fix it. Federal government's going to help. And the locals have to be a part of this, and there was great investment by the local agencies, so you can see the array of funding that happened on this project, and that's how big projects like this have to work. It's a critical project. It's going to save lives. It's going to reduce greenhouse gas. As I keep looking, I see our partners in uniform, and I really appreciate what you do and the effort that you do, because they've been on this project the whole time, and they're going to have to be the ones that are going to be on this project after also. So thank you for your partnership that you have, because there's a lot of partnership with the California Highway Patrol and local law enforcement and the state DOT and everybody. So that's just all the different little fingers of partnership that happen in a big handshake. But anyway, I just wanted to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for the partnership. Thank you for the leadership that California has. It was discussed by Leanne earlier that people around the country and around the world are looking to see what California does, because they're trying to watch to see how to do it. And there's a lot of innovation here in California, a lot of example for the rest of the country. Caltrans is a leader in innovation, so I want to give a round of applause to Caltrans for their leadership, their willingness to try things. I had the luxury of going to a sustainable pavement discussion conference that California was hosting, and the state pavement engineer talked about one of the things they were trying, and he said it was a monumental mistake because in what they were trying to decide to do. And I was so glad to hear how proud he was of that, because that meant that it was a mistake. It didn't work. The thing they wanted to do, it didn't work. So they found something different, and what they found, they were able to build on it and found a couple new things that made it even better. So their willingness to try things, their willingness to experiment, to be willing, in a safe way. They're not experimenting where there's safety, where it's going to hurt somebody, but their willingness to experiment and go out on that limb to find new ways to be innovative, it just shows the leadership that Caltrans has around the country. So Tony, I applaud you and your team all around the state, because the rest of the country and the rest of the world are watching what California does, and the local agencies, I would say the same thing. So everybody is a part. They're watching what California does, and guess what they get to see? This is what California does. So thank you for the leadership that all of you have. and I want to applaud you on your leadership and thank you. And the last thing, for the love of Pete, everybody has these, right? I have 2 of them because I think I'm a big deal. Put them away. There's a glove compartment you have in there. We had a previous Federal Highway Administrator wanted to change it from glove compartment to cell phone compartment. So put them away and move over. When you see this men and women on the side of the road with flashing lights, and you see our people with hard hats on the side of the road, slow down and move over. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you, Vince. And as Vince was complaining, oh, no, I mean, he was expressing concern. You see the sign of a partnership, how we are able to actually get you in a shade, not the University of Maryland. It's a partnership. So with that, we are getting to the end of the program, and I wanted to take a moment, so indulge with me, to acknowledge the ones who actually made this happen, to actually have this a great day. So first, let's start with our CHP partner, Mike Dust, and his team. Thank you. Thank you for what you do and what your team does, trying to help us stay safe. Appreciate all your work. And with that, I wanted to acknowledge some of the members has already been stated, but I will go over those names again. Our Assembly Member Cooper and State Senator Dr. Pan. They were great and instrumental in terms of getting Senate Bill 1 votes at the time to actually get us where we are today. So I appreciate their support, and if any of their staff members in the audience, please, thank you, share our appreciation with them. Along with that, I wanted to again acknowledge Supervisor Don Natoli, Darren Sween, who's with us, Jeff Harris, Martha Guerra from West Sacramento, Kevin Spees, Paul Sandu, Henry Lee, Kevin Bavesi from SDA, Stephen Keck, Angel Pyle, and Donna Berry, I see you back there, Jeff Warner, and many others who might be present from our local partners. If I overlooked any one of you, please forgive me, because those are the names I got, and that's all I can read. So with that, let me take a moment to actually also express my great appreciation to Caltrans team for the great work they have done, but also our contractor partners. We would not be here in 2.5 years, 1 year ahead of time, to actually be enjoying the ribbon cutting ceremony today if it was not for Tykert and Granite teams, which have done wonderful job. So Duncan Fletcher, Robert Mihal, Kelly Curtis, Jeff Goodall, and Mike Willis from Tykert and Granite team. Thank you. Also, I guess must be a long time, so please applaud. Also, we had a partnership meetings which were led by our fellow Caltrans co-worker in the past. He probably won't acknowledge it, but also he represents California Contractors Association, Sam Asoon from Global Leadership Alliance. So thank you for joining as well. So now are the men and women who were working hard for this project, starting with Wayne Lewis, Jessa Avala, Sutha Sudhar, Daniel Tasai, Garme Bine, Preston Tree, Andrew Bui, Luis Guzman, Fatran, Luca Batista, Abdul Shadiq, Aaron Mak, Charlie Mahan, Hai Lee, and Brahim Kulad. They are all from our design and construction team. So please take it, give a great hand of applause for them. This event would not have been possible without PIO, Dennis Keaton, Steve Nelson, Gilbert Mahathis Chan, Angela Pardo, Nancy Amizuquita, and Anna Minard. So thank you for great work PIO team has been doing. And I would be again remiss for the great partnership we had again with the 3 agencies from SACOG, James Corliss, and also from Kevin Vesey, and then Henry Lee from SAC RT. They've been great partners in that regard. Before I close, I wanted to thank Kome Ajise from SCAG to be joining us today. We would not have been actually planted this great investment if you would not have been actually able to go bat for us at the time when this was considered to be a dream in someone's eye, who was just to keep bugging that individual after 5 o'clock and would not let him get him home until he was going to say yes. So thank you for being patient with me at the time. but I get to stand here and actually see the great work. But it's a lot of hard work which has been done and led by the leadership team. Wanted to acknowledge Susan Elkins, John Ballantyne, Greg Berry, Andy Alvarado, Greg Wong, Mishak Okpala, Brian Elkinsell, Angelo, and many others in orange shirts which I see. So thank you very much. Appreciate all of your great work. Thank you. So with that, now we're going to do the official ribbon cutting ceremony to open bus carpool lane to the traveling public today. And with that, please join us by the ribbon so we can all be part of that process. Thank you.
Thank you. When we count back from 5,